Brian and Janal, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm so excited to have you. For those that haven't met you at a CertainPath event or training, could you share with everyone your names, your company name, and where you guys are located?
I'm Brian Reid. It's my wife, Janal Reid.
Hello.
We run and operate Serveway Heat and Air Conditioning here in Dallas, Texas.
That's great. Fantastic. Well, hey, again, thanks for being here. I'm excited to talk to you for a bunch of reasons. First, we got to talk about the actual business itself. It's doing great. You were sharing with me before we hit record. You are well. I'll let you talk about it. You guys are on your ways to really smashing your goal in 2024, right?
Yeah, we are. Here it is, September of 2024, and we had a projected goal for a full 12-month period, and we only have 16% left of that goal to hit, with 4 months left remaining in the year. So we're doing pretty well. July wasn't a friend at all because we kind of missed out on our goal due to some weather, but August kind of made up for it, and looking forward to September.
Yeah. We break our goals down into editable chunks for our team. So every month we have a goal that the whole team can celebrate together. So it's been cool to incentivize the team and say, hey, when we hit our goals, we're going to hit this wheel, and everybody kind of wins a prize. And so being able to do that all year has really kept the team excited about hitting our goals. So we've been doing a great job.
That's great. That's wonderful. Yeah, I think you said you're going to maybe even do 20% more than what your goal was if everything keeps on the same trajectory.
Yeah.
About 20 to 25% higher.
That's wonderful. And I love that you share it with the team, right? Because it's a team effort, and you want them to know, hey, your hard work is paying off. And that's neat. What are some things on that wheel that you let them roll or spin, I should say?
Yeah. So initially, I just kind of picked things that I thought this will be a good variety. So we had some Home Depot and Lowe's because we have guys who love their tools, right? But we also have fun things like Top Golf and what is the arcade? Yeah, bunch of restaurants on there. Also some clothing places like Zara and Old Navy. So we had a good variety of gift cards. Of course, Amazon, because everybody can use the Amazon and Target gift card. Yeah, so we just have some fun gift cards. But the guys gave me feedback on like places they specifically like to go. So we've been able to add some of those too. So it's been fun to see them win and like actually wanting something specific. And then in the parking lot, like, hey, do you want to trade with me? Because I was going for this and that. So yeah, we have.
That's great.
The cool thing about it is I get to participate. And just this morning, I was cleaning up my wallet. And I'm like, okay, we're doing pretty well because I'm stacking up gift cards here.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Well, tell me, how do you guys feel about business today? I know, you've been hitting your goals. How exciting is it to be on pace to do what you're aiming to do?
I think we have such a great team. I just love to highlight that it's hard to find a team that is excited about what they do. They love the customer service aspect of it. Like they really care about people. That's what our brand is about. That's why we call it Serveway, because it's all about service. It's all about serving your community well.
Right way.
Yeah. And so I think that is a big piece of what our business is looking like these days. It feels like the team camaraderie is high. Everybody loves what they do. So it's very energizing. So obviously problems arise when it comes to HVAC things like the ceiling has water damage or,
those things happen.
A customer is unhappy about, something that happened when they invested in the system and, there is some hiccup that happens. But what I love is that we have the opportunity to respond and the team always has a good attitude about it. Everybody has their strengths that they pitch in. So, I think we're in a good place when it comes to the team, but that's my initial thought. What about you?
Yeah. So, everyone knows what heating and air conditioning does, but what a customer doesn't know is the culture of the company that they're doing business with. And one of the things we took serious this year was our marketing and branding. We're in the process of reworking our website, doing some social media things like that. And being a tech guy, I wanted to brand, how does an air conditioning unit work? What does it look like? What to expect? But Janal was like, no, as a wife, as a woman, and as a homeowner, I want to know the people. So she was just like, let's market the culture. What does the team do? The aspect of the team. And I think that's been huge. Everybody that I see that I talk to about the company, they love seeing the team. They love seeing the culture. They love seeing how we interact and things like that. So that's helped the brand more than anything.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've seen some of the videos, both with, the company and also the charity you guys are working with, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And it's great to see the smiling faces, right? Because these are people that are ultimately going to be in your home, right? You want to feel comfortable. Yeah. And you look at how sharp this group is. They got smiles on their faces. They look like they're happy to be there. It makes a difference as a homeowner, knowing you got somebody that you want to see. So, Janal, I'll give you the win on that one. So,
definitely.
That's right. That's great. But it sounds like you do have a great group of people. What's been, how have you been able to find these great people? What's the secret to success? Is it just interviewing the right way and looking for the right attitude?
Support for this podcast comes from Shuby. It's time again to get covered for the cause with Shuby. This October, Shuby is running an awesome cause marketing campaign supporting an incredible organization dedicated to supporting families affected by a breast cancer diagnosis. Throughout October, Shuby is committed to making a difference. For every pink product purchase, 5% of the proceeds will be donated directly to their partnered organization. Build relationships with your customers, show you care, and support a great cause by decking out your team in pink. This is an awesome opportunity to create your own campaign to support those in your community affected by breast cancer. Be a part of the fight and show you care. Visit Shuby's website at www.shuby.com or call us to join the fight alongside United in Pink and countless families impacted by breast cancer. Get covered for the cause with Shuby this October. And Staples. Staples is the leading provider in office supplies, offering a vast selection of products and services. Over the last 2 years, Staples has also become one of the largest janitorial suppliers in the U.S. as well. From your everyday business essentials to your office furniture, printing, facilities, and break room, Staples can do it all. Staples offers benefits to help create efficiencies in procurement and consolidate vendors to streamline internal processes. Visit staplesadvantage.com to learn more.
It's safe to say that it didn't start that way. So we've been in business just a little over 9 years, about 9.5, going on 10 years. And it started with me and a pickup truck and a cell phone. And, I had just quit my job with a paycheck. And, when you get in this, you figure, hey, I'm just going to bring some folks along who know what they're doing, who could help me do this. Yeah. And we had no idea on culture building and team training. It was more like, hey, you know how to fix AC? We got customers. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Right. And so we started in 2015, and by 2018, we had grown to about a team of 12 individuals. Right. Okay. So we had a company, we had customers, but we didn't have culture.
Yeah.
Right. And that was causing me a headache. The revenue was good, the income was coming in, but the headache wasn't worth it. So me and Janal sat down and was like, what do we need to do? We need to create culture. So we ended up starting from scratch. We had to, dismantle the team. And it was just me and a pickup truck again, and Janal answering the phone.
It's very humbling and hard to do.
You had to feel like you failed at some point.
Yeah.
But you know in your heart that it's the right thing to do. We say, hey, we got to build a company with a good culture. Mm-hmm. And the hiring process changed. It was more about, hey, who are you as an individual versus what you know how to do. Right. I figured, hey, I can teach the trade, but I can't train culture. So we brought on folks with good hearts, good attitudes, and the interviewing process looked like, what do you do on the weekend?
Right.
What are your hobbies?
Inserting those questions.
What was the last book you read? What was your takeaway from it? How are you applying that information and so forth? And just building culture and training for the trade. That's the process that we took.
That's fascinating. There's a lot of people that will watch or listen to this that will be in the where you guys were, some years ago, where you're like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. So what finally made you guys go, we need to start over? This isn't right. Was it just the numbers weren't there? You didn't like the vibe of the company? What were the alarm bells that were sounding off?
Mm-hmm. There were a lot more customer complaints, recalls, and not necessarily that the service wasn't performed correctly, but the customer service wasn't there. That level of care to the customer wasn't going out. We talked about it, and Brian and I, in our hearts, that was our main reason for starting this company. We want to go out and serve people well. We want to make sure we're building relationships with our customer. We're not just showing up and fixing, people think the AC is your customer, and it's not. The AC unit is not your customer. This individual who owns a home with kids and, their dog and their parents and all the things, they're your customer. And so getting some of that feedback from our customers was one thing that led us to know, okay, our vision is not communicating throughout the team.
Right.
The second piece was there were some real practical things that were kind of shady happening, where it felt like people were kind of taking their own liberties, right? And kind of doing things the way they had always done. And we had a system in place. We check things thoroughly. We have proper invoicing processes. We had all these things, but the tools weren't being used. They were bringing the culture that they had from other places and just doing what they've always done. And so, just experiencing those things let us know that we have a brand, we know what our vision is, but now we need to make sure that we're communicating it well to our team and that they're actually carrying that out with the name Serveway. They're taking ownership of that vision as well.
And one of the things I heard during that time where we were rebranding and, redoing the culture, I heard someone say culture is created by design or default.
Yeah.
And, I heard it a thousand times since, right? But that was my first time hearing it. And I was like, I don't think we ever created a culture. Like, we had it in our heart, but we didn't create it and we didn't voice it to our team. Right. So that was the attitude when we restarted. We're creating culture by design, right?
Yeah. I read that on one of the two websites, and I wrote it down because I thought that was a very insightful, phrase. And so when you move forward to rebuild this team, I mean, you said you're looking for the right people. How do you talk about culture today? Is it a daily conversation, a weekly conversation, trying to make sure everyone's on the same wavelength?
Yeah, it's a daily conversation. So our slogan is Serveway, service the right way. And the question is like what is the right way? Because CertainPath has a right way. You name any company, there's a right way of doing things. For us, it is when a technician enters your home, he's gonna present himself in a way that you would want him to serve your grandmother or your mother's home, right? Like, you're gonna trust that guy in your home. He's gonna be professional. He's gonna be clean. He's gonna be thorough. He's gonna be well trained. He's gonna be respectful. He's gonna be honest. He's gonna be fair. He's gonna have the proper tools. He's going to look like the guy that you want in your home, and he's going to represent like someone that you would trust with your grandmother.
Yeah.
And we drive that home in our training, whether it's technical, whether it's social training, whether it's morality training, in our uniforms, clean vans, clean cut, across the board.
I would say yes. And practically speaking, we do it like Brian is saying daily. What that looks like is there's a group chat, and in that group chat, we're consistently not just talking about numbers, but also we're giving guys shout outs when they're getting great customer feedback. We do a happy check after every call, right?
That's
the
great.
CertainPath way, which is, what's recommended. And it works really well because you immediately get to capture what the customer experienced as soon as the technician leaves their home. And so in those calls, whenever we get something that's like, wow, this technician was extraordinary. One example I could think of is we had a technician go out to a customer's home, and the wife, she was saying how her husband just had surgery. And so, she's just telling him about her AC, but also she shared that intimate thing about what they're walking through in their home. And before he left, he asked the question, is there anything that your husband would normally do that I could help out with? And she just needed the couch moved over, and he moved the couch for her, right? Yeah. That was something incredible to shout out, to say, you took it a step further. You could have said, I did my job, check, and moved on to the next. But you extended a hand as a person in her community, saying, how can I help you before I leave your home? Those are the types of things that we shout out in our group chat. And then we get together every single Wednesday, and we just talk as a team, like Brian is saying, these things that we want to implement as a culture when it comes to communicating and developing ourselves. We read books together. And so those are the things that we do on our Wednesdays. We talk about who we are as individuals, how we're making sure that we're translating that, not just when we have our uniform on, but also when you go home to your family. Are you serving your family well? Are you mindful when you're, talking to Brian? Doesn't know a stranger. So literally at the grocery store, he has cashier friends. At the laundromat. He knows the manager at the, like, just everywhere. And that's who he is. And I feel like he does a good job of communicating. That's who we are in our community. And the team is really grasping that. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
People don't care what you know until they know that you care, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And how do you know what a person care about unless you engage with them?
Yeah.
Really.
I love that. So you said on Wednesdays you guys will read books together, or you kind of like talk about what you're reading? Did I hear that right?
Yes, we talk about what we're reading. So we have a book that we'll assign to the team. It's always short. It's always an audible option because Brian always talks about how you can be in your van, you're riding, and this is the opportunity to learn. You can listen to music, which is great, keep your energy up, but also you can be developing yourself and listening to a podcast or a book. And so we find short books as a team, and then we talk about, some things we pull from it. We'll always have questions we want to ask or develop with as a team, and we do that on Wednesdays. And that's one thing, but sometimes there's more practical lectures, and of course there's always training opportunities for the team too.
Yeah, that's neat. I mean, that's why I started the podcast, because I'm like, I work with busy people that are in trucks all day.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to sit down with a book, because a lot of you guys aren't traditional students. And I know I much rather listen to things. So it's like it's a good venue, right? You're stuck there. You gotta, you gotta sit there and pay attention. You might as well listen.
Yeah, it's so impactful for you to do something like that, because it really does help a lot for people.
Yeah. Before we get really deep into the business, I do want to talk the nuts and bolts. I want to talk about a passion that you guys have, something you started that I think is fantastic, and that's this non-for-profit you began in 2022, right? The Next Generation of Tradesmen Foundation, NGTF, if I have that correct.
Right.
What made you take this big thing on? I mean, to start a foundation is not easy when you've got a business you're running, a family. So talk about the genesis of that, if you would.
I will start by saying everything that we do is driven by our faith. We believe that what we have is a blessing, and we don't do any of it under our own strength, and it's all a blessing. So we give honor to the Creator who has given us what we have, and it literally started at our church. I had two young men who were finishing up high school. They were in the second semester, so graduation was maybe a month or two away, and they had no clue what they were going to do. And they just randomly walked up to me and said, "Hey, Brian, what is it that you do for a living?" And I didn't say I own an air conditioning business. I say, I do AC. I do heating and air conditioning, just so nonchalantly, because this is what I did, but I was running the company. And they was like, okay, well, tell me more about that. And I was like, it'd be easier if you came and did a ride along. So I had them do a ride along, and they was like, yeah, I think I want to do that. I was like, really? You want to do what I can do? Like, these are two young men who are, they're involved in our church. They got mom and dad at home. They're getting good grades. The last thing I think that they want to do is air conditioning. But they like, hey, they had no other plans. They didn't want to go to college, and they just had no clue. So it's like they wanted to do it, and it's like, well, how do I get involved? So I took them over to the local community college. I got them enrolled in school. They completed school. Both of the guys came and worked for me, and so me and Janal, being involved in our church, we were actually involved in our youth ministry. And, we just kept hearing the stories of, I'm about to graduate, but I don't want to go to college, or I'm about to go to college, but I don't want to go to college. And I'm afraid, and I don't know what I want to do. Am I wasting my money? Am I wasting my time? And then I looked at these two young men who just randomly asked me, hey, what do you do? And now they're in a field that they enjoy and love. I said, hold on, there's something going on here, and we can do something about it. And that was the genesis of us starting that nonprofit, NGTF, the Next Generation of Tradesmen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what we do is we go into high schools and we target specifically the undecided, those who are in their junior and senior year who don't know quite what they want to do, or they know that they don't want to go to college, they don't want to go to the military, but yet they want a career that's rewarding, and they want to be of service to their community. Because we do more than fix equipment. We service customers, we service our community, we service our friends and family. So that's what kind of led to NGTF, and it's been a blessing. Since those two young men, we've sent multiple students to the trade schools now. Yeah,
it's really been cool. To Brian's point, after those two students, we start asking more and more questions. It was literally right after COVID kind of let the kids go back to school. And we were noticing as we're talking to them, one, they didn't have plans after high school. With the students that we were having the opportunity to talk to, they were expressing more and more of their fear of the future. It felt like, man, I'm getting out of school and I don't feel like I have options, or I don't want to go to college, or I want to go to college, but I don't know what I want to do if I go to college. There was so many questions that these students have, and I feel like our educators are doing a great job. They're doing the best they can. Yeah. They truly are. We're really, really grateful for the educators and the ones that are directing these students. I think there's just this lack of information when it comes to the trades. They didn't know where to start. So we're meeting these. Once we decided, okay, maybe we can see where we can help, we started going into schools and talking to the principals and vice principals, career counselors, and their response was, we just don't really know where to start when it comes to, inserting these students into trades. And so even if we do have, like, Dallas College is doing a great job, and DISD also, they're creating a great pathway for students, but the students aren't necessarily motivated to go. So the program exists, but they don't want to try it out, or they don't have enough information. And so Brian and I were like, man, a nonprofit sounds like something you do in your 60s. Just being honest,
how do you get the time to even do it?
Yeah, like, not in the thick of, we're growing our business, and like you said, we're a young married couple, so we're involved in other things, and we have a young child at home, and there's just so many things. And so it felt like this is something we do later, but we just kept having that, but now is the time. Like, there's such a need now, so why can't we do something now? So it's just, we went ahead and decided to start.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you work with the administrators at the high school, right? And you say, hey, this is what we can do. This is what the trades can do for people. Let me talk to them, right? So what class? You just go to certain classes, or how does that actually work? Homeroom class?
Yeah, actually, they create a space for us. So when we come in, we get to have their lunch hour, and the career counselor kind of invites the certain students. Like Brian said, the students are polled. Usually, as upperclassmen, they want to know, what are your plans after? Are you going to what college, or what after continuing education are you choosing? And the ones that are saying, I don't know, they're the ones that are invited to our information session. So we have an information session during their lunch hour, and we visit them probably 8 times in a school year. Yeah. And we also provide field trips within those visits. So we will take them to a trade school, and they get to see in person, this is what trade school looks like. This is how you get enrolled. So we provide the college tours or the trade school tours and the information session.
And then so it's a 10 touch points per school year. 8 of those touch points are presentations in the classrooms, Q&As, day in the life. And then the other 2 visits are field trips. Yeah. And if the student says, hey, I do want to go to trade school, I want to go to HVAC school or plumbing school, we actually walk them through the process of getting enrolled. Yeah. And then we actually do a signing day,
Really? Because that's what everyone does now, right? With sports. So that's awesome. That is amazing. So how did you build out your curriculum over those eight visits? Like, what made you think of, what do you talk about? Maybe just give us a quick outline. You don't have to get too deep into it.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to our heart behind why. Obviously, yes, we love the trades and we want students to get involved in the trades, but we also want them to learn about what it means to be a good citizen, to serve your community, to have your own values as far as why are you doing the things that you do. Of course, like Brian said, day in the life. So we talk about this is what a typical day of a technician in these different industries look like. We also don't only talk about HVAC. We introduce them to this is kind of what plumbing would look like. This is what roofing would look like. This is electrical. This is welding, construction, because we want them to know, like, even if you don't get into HVAC, there are all these different avenues. We also talk about earning potential, and then the pathway to get into, if you're looking to ownership, there's a pathway to ownership as well. So those are the things that we kind of cover.
That's outstanding because I think, I mean, I'm older than you guys are, but, growing up, the trades was always like, oh, it's that fallback option, right?
Yeah.
And it's treated not in a fair manner. And no one understands the earning potential, right? Especially now,
Really?
it's incredible. And then I love that you add the component of ownership because most people go, well, what do you do? I mean, am I a technician my whole life? Well, it could be. There's nothing wrong with that, but there are other opportunities. So what you guys do, I think that's incredible. And it sounds like it's making an impact already. You said you've got 2 young people working for you that are doing it. You've had success with a bunch of others. That's wonderful. Bless you guys for making that effort. Now, I guess, yeah.
Sorry, one more thing. I would say where we would love for all of CertainPath in your network to know is that we would love to have other industry partners because we can't hire them all. We can't train them all. We can't mentor them all. But I know that there are so many people that are passionate about what they do in CertainPath that are roofers and HVAC owners and plumbers, electricians all across the country. And we are telling these students, what you do here in Texas, you can do it in California. You can do it in New Zealand. You can do it in China. There's opportunity everywhere. And so we're exposing them to, that there's opportunity everywhere. And we would love for them to, have the opportunity to interview other owners and other people in the trade so that they can really kind of experience their passions as well. Yeah. Not just HVAC, but all the trades. Sure.
And to Janal's point, we didn't start NGTF to hire everybody, but we did start it to get them hired, right? Yeah. So we do need partners that help hire the students that we're, sending through trade school, and the industry needs it, right? The average age of a tradesman is 55, right? Yeah. And they're not being replaced. When they retire, they're not being replaced at the rate that they're retiring. Yeah. So we need them as our industry needs them. We need the help. We need the workforce. We need the labor, but also our community needs it because when the supply goes away, when the demand goes up and the supply goes down, the price follows upwards, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a big benefit for all of us.
Big time. I was going to say, I think I read the stat for every 5 that retire, only 1 enters the trades. So, I mean, if that's not alarming, I don't know.
Correct.
It is.
Yeah.
Correct.
But now, Brian, I want to talk because this kind of ties to your story, right? I was reading the NGTF Foundation website, and you were a young man. You were in that position, right? You're graduating. You really weren't sure what to do. I mean, you were working odd jobs. You got a good, solid job, right? But anyways, go ahead and it's a fascinating story. I would love for you to tell it to everybody.
Yeah, so long story, I was that student who I wasn't a great student in high school, the average grade, point average student. I knew for a fact that I wasn't going to college, and I really wanted to just get out of school and get a job, and actually did that. I got a pretty decent job. It afforded me to buy a house, but once I got married and had children, it just wasn't enough, right? So then I felt motivated to, hey, I got to gain some skill sets somehow, some way. And I looked at all the trades. I looked at plumbing. I looked at electrical. I even looked at becoming a barber potentially. But when I looked at HVAC, I just seen all the trades in one. I seen welding with refrigerant piping. I seen plumbing with connecting PVCs. I seen carpentry with installs. But then what got it on, what hit the nail on the head for me was the refrigerant. None of the other trades get to work with refrigerant, and even with troubleshooting, you got electrical. So I seen electrical, and I got in school, and I fell in love with HVAC when I was in school. I made the dean's list, every report card marking. And, it proved to me that, all of us have smarts in other areas than just, the curriculums that we're put in front of, in school. And my salary, my first year in HVAC, I jokingly tell my students that I broke more stuff than I fixed, which is probably true. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. But when I quit my manufacturing job that I had been at for 6 years before I went into HVAC, my best year was maybe $50,000. My first year in HVAC, I cleared 67. Yeah, that was my first year. Fresh out of trade school, and from there, my salary just kind of went up. And that's one of the things that I share with the students because, like you said, they think it's a fallback job. Yeah, they think it's dirty work. They don't see it as a first option. But it is a great option. Where the income is there, The opportunity to serve and be of service is there. And to Janal's point, the skill set is something that you take with you.
Yeah.
I like to tell folks, I don't go to work, I am the work. Usually when I show up, it's not working, but when I leave, it is working, So that was my career path into the trades,
Yeah.
For 5 years, I worked for a company fresh out of trade school.
Right.
And, it was placed on our hearts, me and Janal hearts, that, hey, we could do this ourselves.
Yeah.
We could do this ourselves. I know a lot of guys that want to own AC companies that's been doing it for 20, 30 years, but just never had the courage to jump out there and do it. It was placed on our heart in year 5, Brian, Janal, do it. So after 5 years of working for another company is when we started Serveway. And I think it was in year 4 of Serveway, fully operational, that we decided to join CertainPath.
Yeah.
I was like, we this has been placed on our heart to start a business, but we don't know how to run a business.
Right.
But CertainPath had all the tools, all the resources, all the coaches and everything that we needed to run the business. One of the companies that I worked for before we started Serveway, they were actually a CertainPath company.
Oh, was that right?
They were. And I thought to myself, I was to ever start a company, I want things to look like this. It felt like a plug and play situation. Me being a technician with very little experience, very little skill set, I was able to get plugged into good training, good processes, good procedures. So for me, it was a no-brainer that when I started my company, it was going to be a CertainPath company.
Oh, that's cool. Janal, I want to circle back to because obviously you're half this business. What was your background? I mean, what did you leave to get into this crazy industry? What were you doing beforehand?
Yes, so I actually was in a completely different trade. I was a cosmetologist for Aveda. So that's where I started. And I really enjoyed what I did. It was a great opportunity, again, to provide customer service, meet a lot of different types of people. I also got to use my artistic side because I do enjoy putting my hands on things. And it was a really fun industry. I always had the heart to have ownership as well, just to own a business. I come from a family where that's what we did. Actually, my aunts and my grandmother, they all own their hair salons, right? So they were business owners. So in the cosmetology industry, but as owners. And so I actually thought that's what the business would be, that we would own together, would potentially be a hair salon, right, for Aveda even. But as Brian got into the trade and he really started to love it, and I was seeing just this spark and this fire, and obviously seeing also what a great industry it is, I became more interested. And so I actually went to the same trade school that he went to and took a few classes. Yeah. Because I wanted to wrap my head around, okay, what does that look like for me? Would I be able to understand it in order to, really be a part of the organization? And after that, I loved it. I also fell in love with HVAC and was able to intern with a small company, and they kind of showed me everything. Awesome owner. He literally opened the door. He's like, yes, you can work every position here because it's, it's free too, right? I'm interning. So he let me answer the phones at some point and work with the accountant at some point, and they were actually getting audited. So I got to see what that looks like on the tax side. So I got really great experience there. And so when it was time, I was like, okay, I feel ready. I've seen how this business kind of functions, and I felt ready.
So, wow. Funny story is she really did go to trade school. Yeah. So the tool bag that I would use during the day is the bag that she would take to school at night.
And the teacher was so impressed. He's like, where did you get all these tools?
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was really fun. Really
good for you. I'm not handy at all, so I admire that. That's incredible. That's something else. So you were fully on board when you guys both decided together, we're going to do this venture on our own. We're going to take that big leap of faith.
Yeah. And obviously, I think there is so much that happened before that. Brian and I have been together for 17 years. So you
guys don't even look that old.
Yeah, we were babies when we met. No. But in the beginnings, we knew, I think, that we worked really well together. So we just had that energy of great partnership. We both love to kind of talk about and dream about what does it look like to serve other people together. Like you said, we served in our church together. So we each had a lot of opportunities to just really work on our strengths as a team, So when it was time to do something like this, it felt natural.
Yeah. So okay, you guys like, okay, we're going to take this big leap. You're not buying an existing business. You're starting one from scratch. So that means you don't have any clients. So
Right.
how did you start finding customers and start making money? What did that look like?
Mm-hmm.
So initially we started with home warranty companies.
Okay.
We started with, you named the big home warranty companies. We got signed up with them. Actually, so we started our company in February, but not having any customers. And of course, that being the slower part of HVAC season, especially here in Dallas, I actually stayed on with the company that I was working for. And which is not normal, because once you get your license, most companies see you as competition and, you have to exit. But, I guess you could say my character spoke for itself, that they let me stay on until I was ready to leave. And I didn't leave until June, when the weather picked up and, calls started rolling in, the home warranty started giving us calls. And, I gave my notice and I took off in June of 2015 and we started rolling that way. And I initially knew that the home warranty route wasn't the way that we wanted to go long term.
Yeah.
Right.
But my philosophy was, we're going to run these service calls with the utmost level of professionalism, right? So we ran, and that's for anyone who out there now that's listening that run home warranty calls.
Right.
Run it as if it's your customer. We had uniforms, we had shoe covers, we had dispatcher software, right? We respected the home. Even though we were getting pennies on the dollars, we ran the call like we were being paid thousands of dollars, because we wanted to make a reputation for ourselves. And it was more than just that customer we were servicing. It was the reputation that we were leaving behind. Because a lot of those home warranty customers told their friends and their family members and their coworkers who didn't have home warranty. And that's where a lot of our revenue came from. It didn't come from those calls. It came from word of mouth.
Their recommendation.
And that's kind of how we built this business, word of mouth. We've never taken a business loan. We've never had any funds. We started from the ground up. And when you say that we started from the ground up, we're not a second generation or third generation company. I have to remind myself sometimes when, we're not doing
struggle.
Yeah.
No. Every now and then,
we're not doing $20-30 million a year, right? Not yet. But sometimes, we can look at those companies who are in our Dallas market, and we like, man, how come we're not doing that? It means a lot to have started from the ground up with a paycheck, a paycheck and a pickup truck. So that's what keeps us grounded where we started from, but where we're going, definitely with CertainPath, we know that the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Right.
Word of mouth has definitely been super impactful. Just recognizing that our customers love us even enough to tell their friends and family. And so we never took that lightly. It's like, oh my gosh, we're so grateful for, these customers, and also recognize. And to Brian's point, a lot of the customers we gained with home warranty, once their home warranty was up, they continued with us, right? They continue to call us, and also implementing the maintenance membership program definitely helped to kind of grow.
Ask about that.
We should have did that sooner than we actually did.
So if you're not doing maintenance memberships, do it immediately. So if you haven't started, start today. It's definitely an awesome opportunity to really grow your customer base, and also, just continue to build those relationships. Like, it's not just the touch and go, but now we get to see those same people over and over, and they're part of our family. So,
Yeah. So when you guys joined, I think it was around 2017. What was fine? I know you said you'd come from a company that, that works with us, it was a member, but what finally said, okay, we're ready to make this jump, this investment? Was business, struggling a little bit, or you just like, we're ready to take the next step? So maybe walk us through that.
It was just financially, we were ready, because obviously CertainPath is a financial investment.
Yeah.
And so to just be financially ready and feel like we had that stability to go ahead and join as a member. Yeah. But Brian knew from day one, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. So it's just a matter of us reaching that goal, that revenue goal, to be able to join.
Yeah. So did you reach out to us, or did someone finally reach out to you? How did that connection?
Oh, no.
We reached out.
We reached out.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. That's great. So what was Profit Day like? I know they made you sit down at a Profit Day, right? So what was that experience like? And where was it at? Was it local?
Yeah, Profit Day was local. I can't remember what city it was in, but it was here in the DFW area. And I actually invited a buddy of mine to sign up. I knew I was signing up day one, so I came with a checkbook.
Right.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I was ready. There was nothing to it. I was not leaving without being signed up. I was ready.
Yeah, that's great. Did your buddy join?
He did it.
Oh, how's he doing now? Is he doing all right, or is he still kind of putzing along?
We're still recommending.
Every
time you talk to him.
Sometimes it just takes people a little longer. I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed that went to 2 or 3 of them profit days, and they finally go like, okay, I need to do something different. But that's not to say he can't figure it out on his own. People do that all the time, but God bless you for trying to help them out, right? So you go to profit day. The next step is going to executive perspective, or EP, as we call it, at CertainPath. What was that week like?
Oh, it was fun filled. I think what I enjoyed the most was seeing individuals from all range of years. You had some folks like us who we have been in business for maybe 2, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
Then you have folks who have been in business for 20 years.
Right.
Folks who have been in business for 8 years. And everybody's like, wow, this is awesome. The resources is good. They're excited. They're learning new things. And we kind of felt like we're in the place to be, because it doesn't matter whether you had 20 years or 3 years. CertainPath has something to provide. Yeah. That was the exciting part. We didn't feel like we were out of place. We felt like we was in the place to be, to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say for me, I really love the opportunity to talk to other owners too, because it can kind of feel like an island when you're starting something and you feel like you're the only one, or is this normal, to start something new on your own? So I like the opportunity to kind of talk with other people in the same boat, so that we can just kind of also get that confidence boost. Okay, it's not just me. There's some support, and you don't just feel alone anymore. I prefer that part of it.
Yeah, when you're owning your own business, you're kind of on an island, right? You don't want to complain or talk to your employees about what's going on. You want to be a fearless leader. But it is nice to have that support.
It's nice to have a partner.
Yeah, we do that well amongst ourselves too.
It's nice to have a partner.
To branch out. Even finding because husband and wife teams is kind of common too in this industry. And that's been really cool to have other husband and wife teams, because there's overlap with family and business. And so to get to meet those people and network with them also is cool and impactful.
Yeah. Now when you leave EP, we always talk about, what are the first big couple things you implemented to start changing the business, improving the business? Do you remember what some of those big adjustments were initially?
Oh, I think the first thing was our maintenance agreement.
We did immediately implement
a maintenance agreement, and we the service fee. So we had a service fee, for us, industry standard was repair, a service fee waived with repair.
We used to do that.
And it was like, no, how many thousands of dollars you're leaving on the table? So we immediately did away with that. We got our straightforward pricing guide printed immediately.
Yeah.
So honestly, that was the first thing we did. Before the agreement, we got the pricing book. At the pricing book, we held fast to our service fees. We actually raised it. And then we did the maintenance agreement.
Good for you. So how did now I know you had a team in place, right? I mean, because at some point you kind of tore it back down to build it back up, and we can get into that in a minute. But was there a lot of pushback on, hey, we've got this new pricing system and we're raising prices? No, they were just okay, what we're going to do.
Oh yeah, everybody was excited. I think because we started out with, this is how we're building value. So it's not just, we're raising prices and here's the price book, but we talked all about the value of the training that you do. You're the expert. You're the AC doctor. These are the different steps that you're taking in order to really show the customer you're providing something up front.
Yeah.
And so I think because we built the value with the team first and we're communicating that on the phone, building value with the customer, the price kind of is okay.
Yeah. This was around the same time that we started the culture shift and the culture trend. Yeah. So we joined CertainPath in, I believe it was December of 2017. So going into 2018, by the time the fall of 2018 came along, we were a new team.
Yeah.
We were a new team with new culture, new expectations, and setting goals.
Yeah. So what did that? I mean, you told me the tagline, and what are some things to shift culture? I know that people changed over. That's a big part of it. Getting the right people in place and you talked about just talking about it. week by week? I mean, what else? What other little nuggets of advice might you have for other people on how to get a culture where you want it, how to get the momentum where you want it? Because I think that is so critical.
I guess it's definitely those team meetings. We also have regular meetings, quarterly meetings with each individual. So we have one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And what I love about one-on-ones is it creates an open door feel, like you're approachable. We care about you as a part of our team. And so we give them the opportunity to express things, to talk things out. So I think that is another thing that helps really reinforce the culture.
Family hangs.
Yeah. Oh, we do have hangs. We have our team. Bring your family, bring your wife, kids, your roommate, whoever it is, and kind of also include them in what we're doing as we're celebrating the team.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting the vibe of your two's personality. I'm sure you seem like the people that just like to engage with other people, right? You're interested in what. You make that time to talk to the team as they're coming in every day, and you're talking how their day is going, and they see you're genuinely interested in them, and so obviously that's reciprocated.
That's what I was going to say too. You definitely have to be what you're trying to get your team to accept. So if you as a person don't already love what you do, you're not engaging, you can't get the team to get there. So it's a lot of self-development. We work on ourselves all the time. Brian talks about reading books. He reads more books than anybody I know. And I do my best.
Yeah.
I do my
It
best.
didn't start that way.
And
I just realized the benefit of doing it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think always developing ourselves, continuously working towards that, putting ourselves out there. You have to really love people. If you don't love your team, they'll know you don't like them. So you have to really like people and be engaging. If you don't love your customers, they'll know you don't love them. To start with yourself too, I think is really important.
Yeah, that's great. So you got that people side down, right? You guys are good at it. You worked at it. But in this business, there's the people and there's also processes, right? That's the other big part of it. We started talking about getting your pricing in line, getting a service fee where you need it to be. What are some of the other things that maybe you realize needed tweaking or improving, or maybe new SOPs you put in place as you joined us and kind of learned a little bit more about the actual business of the business?
I mean, you name it. I talk to other business owners who have businesses that I aspire to be, or that have went before me, and they tell me you got to know your numbers. And I'm a person. I'm a people person. Not only do I love people, but I love working with my tools. I love troubleshooting. I love fixing stuff. I've never been that numbers guy. But the truth is, if we're gonna grow something here, I got to take the advice that I'm being given, and it's know your numbers. And we sat down with our coach, and she's like, all right, we're going to get you where you need to be. This is what we need to do. And accountability, her holding us accountable to looking at the numbers, the budget sheet, the KPIs,
the DMER sheet.
The DMERs.
Good for you. A lot of people that don't want to do that. And they go,
it took forever. It took forever
Yeah.
to look at the DMERs, and I would say probably for the last year or two, I've been trying my best to hone it in, and it's still a work in progress, because I'm still technical and I'm still social, and Janal's the more analytical and the numbers person. So she does it better. She loves spreadsheets. It's her thing. So I got to admit, she's better at it than I am, but knowing the numbers, looking at the DMERs, having KPIs, setting goals, not just for your company, but for each individual technician.
Yeah.
Right. Then setting goals for your CSRs.
Right.
How many outbound calls are you making? How many calls coming in are you booking? What is your percentage? Because all that add up to the bottom line.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
The only thing I would add is across the board, we've really worked on our scripts, meaning what the customer service rep is saying is the same language that the technicians are using. So that way across the board, the customer is not confused about what am I getting, or if that makes sense. So we're making sure that the option sheets, are broken down in a language the customer can understand, and also the CSR can kind of repeat back to the customer. So that's been really impactful too, just making sure that our language across the board is consistent. That's really helped a lot. And So getting some of those scripts and using them, making them our own and repeating them, role playing. We don't just role play for the technicians, but we role play with the CSR and cross train. So that's been really impactful. We have our CSR do ride-alongs with our technicians, so they can see what's going on in the field. So those things have been really great.
That's incredible. I know I'm always, a lot of people these days are they're struggling to find calls. A lot of members, just contractors in general, right? The business has slowed a little bit after post-COVID, but I can't tell you, talking to coaches, how many members are not booking the calls they're getting, and they don't realize it, right? So that is so critical. Is you getting those calls or those leads? You gotta get them booked. So that's great that you guys are really making an emphasis on that. I also love that you're tracking stuff daily, and monthly, right? Because if you know where you're at, it's not going to be a surprise when you get to December and go, what happened?
Support for this podcast comes from Train and American Standard. The Train and American Standard Diagnostics mobile apps are a technician support tool with many features to help technicians better install and service systems and communicating and 24-volt applications. When installing Train and American Standard Link equipment, our latest communicating technology, technicians can connect to the equipment via Bluetooth through the Train or American Standard Diagnostics mobile app while on the job site. Once connected, technicians have access to a dashboard of features, including real-time sensor readings, fault conditions, the ability to view or change system settings, automatic charging, and more without standing at the thermostat. Through the Diagnostics mobile app, technicians can easily configure or diagnose a Train or American Standard Link system from the palm of their hand. For 24-volt applications, the Diagnostics mobile app guides the technician through the installation for select 24-volt equipment, providing wiring diagrams, dip switch configurations, and downloadable PDF installation reports. Technicians can access a customer's diagnostics data, see active system alerts, remotely connect to select smart thermostats, access a refrigerator calculator, and search Train American Standard residential product literature. This is one tool all your technicians should have. Train and American Standard Diagnostics mobile apps are available for download in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store.
I am intrigued by this goal setting you're doing with each of your team members. What does that look like? You sit down with them individually during those quarterly meetings you talked about and go, what do you hope to do? Or this is what we need you to do? Kind of walk us through that conversation.
Yes, it's both. So what do they hope to do? We want to know their individual goals. Tell us where you would like to be. Also, we talk about like real life goals. Are you looking to buy a house or, go on vacation, to think about those things too, because we do care a lot about that. And we know there's a route forward for that. So one, we start there, but we also talk about our financial goals when it comes to, we've broken down, from our big annual goal, there's a monthly goal. And then how are we going to have an average ticket for a technician to make sure he gets there daily? So we talk through that, and we have our KPI, our key performance indicator, that shows them every single day, this is where you are. And on Wednesdays, actually a great idea. I don't know if it came from SD or maybe it came from Expo. I think it came from Expo. We sent our whole team to Expo this year, which was awesome.
Oh, it's local, right? Yeah.
Yes, it was in Dallas. So the whole team got to go, which is cool. And one of the things that we pulled from there and were able to implement immediately was having the technician write down where they are, like what was their weekly number, so they know if I reach my goal for the week or if I missed that target. But it's not like kind of a number floating out there and they hear about it later, but it's something they're actively able to see every week. So those are really impactful things.
One of the things that we realized is that technicians want ownership. When you give them ownership, when you give them the liberty to have control over something, they actually do better than if you're micromanaging them, telling them what to do. They keep their truck cleaner, they keep their truck stocked, they follow up on their leads, they return phone calls and so forth. You give them ownership.
Yeah. And if you give them the numbers, this is what we're hoping you to do. They know they can track their own progress, right? It's not a surprise to them. What does that look like for your CCR? I mean, the people are always looking for ways to help them do better at what they do. We always talk about technicians, but if you're a CCR, you have him or her also set goals and talk with him or her about those.
Yes, definitely. We do have a closing ratio that we like them to have when it comes to how many calls are coming in and how many are actually booked. We are very lucky that we have a super duper ambitious CSR. And so she set her own goal when it comes to outbound calls. And so her outbounding, you know, she knows that as a company, we've grown organically. And so she looked at our amount of customers in the database and she's like, oh, we want to keep our brand in front of these customers on a regular basis. So she's given herself a daily outbound goal as well. And she gets to celebrate also I want to point that out, she gets to celebrate in all of our numbers being achieved, right? She has ownership in that as well. So when we hit a goal as a team on our monthly goal and we're spinning the wheel, she spins the wheel also. And she gets, she gets an opportunity there. And then, of course, we have some incentives for whenever she gains a new maintenance member, because she's the first person to talk to a customer over the phone. And sometimes, you know, they immediately want to sign up, which is awesome. And she's able to get that incentive by just communicating well the benefits and kind of drawing them in as a customer. So I think those things are really helpful for her and allow her to feel accomplished and achieve goals with the team.
That's great. I love that she gets it. Like outbounding is a big part of the business. Huge, right? So who is she outbounding to? Is it just old sales leads, someone that you didn't close right away? Is it repairs that weren't bought, or, you know, add-on services that weren't bought? Or what's her outbound list kind of look like?
Yes, it depends on the season, but it could be either or. So during our busier season, her outbounding is just following up on leads. But when we are in a slower season, it is everybody in the roster. It's like start from A and work to Z. So those are the two different options. Slower season, just work A to Z, work the whole list. And then in busier season, are these open leads that we need to follow up with? Were these options that were presented and a customer set calls back on X day? And so she's constantly working through those days.
Okay. Is she offering any kind of a discount, or just purely following up and getting your name back in front? Okay, good for you.
Just
hold on to those margin dollars.
Yeah, that's
great. And then I'm sure there's always tune-ups, right? You get that maintenance agreement going. You got to stay in front of those folks.
Yeah, so we definitely call all of our maintenance members twice a year. They get that call in the spring and get their AC done, and they get their call in the fall for their heater. So
that's great. Talking about acquiring leads, advertising is always a hot button topic. You guys were talking about it earlier. You're doing some new initiatives. What's that look like for you guys? What are some of the things you're doing to try and generate additional business? Because that's a competitive market you're in, right? There's a lot of big players that are part of our group. So, it's hard. So talk about what you're doing these days.
Being in the Dallas, like we're literally in the center of Dallas. We're not in the suburb of Dallas. We're in Dallas, and there are some big players like within our immediate radius. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to compete with them when it comes to marketing dollar wise. So what we've done, we're not doing PPC. We can't afford to do that because what it would cost us. But we're doing LSA. We're doing Google ads, and we benefit with a lot of local ads. Local business owners, small newspapers, the pickup, the free newspapers that you get at the local restaurant and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then word of mouth. Word of mouth has just been a blessing for us, and we do some small business networking. The BBB we take advantage of, as well as the business chambers here. We're surrounded by a bunch of little cities, Garland, Mesquite, Irvin, you name it. We're a part of all those business chambers. So we take advantage of marketing on the small level as much as possible. And it's been good.
Networking, yeah.
Yeah, I always tell members, I was like, when you're in a market like that and you're a small business, and you got to utilize your hours more than your money sometimes with the networking, right? Yeah. That's what you got to do. And you guys do a great job with reviews. You guys have a great online reputation. I think it's like 4.9 stars or something like that. So obviously you're training the guys to always ask for those. Are you using PulseM or something like that?
No, we're just using Google. We're using Google.
Asking the guys to ask for
That's it. Wow. Yeah. So they're good about it.
Our guys have a barcode on a QR code on their phone. And, of course, we advise them to give the best service possible. And when they leave a call, we ask them to ask the customer to scan that QR code and leave them a review. And not just that, but we actually celebrate the guys. Once they get a review, the mass group text goes out, giving the guys raves about the review that they got, and we post it.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, so obviously you're getting in front of these people. You're selling some systems too. So who's doing sales for you guys? Are the techs selling themselves? Brian, are you selling, or what's the team look like in that regard?
So if it's so our guys are sales techs.
They are sales.
Yep. Okay. So they do have sales books. They have the ability to sell, and we actually just started doing that this year, and it's proven beneficial. It's been amazing. Yeah. We sent the guys to some training, and it's worked out great. But if a marketed lead come in or a sales estimate come in, then I'll run that. Yeah. But I'll also take one of the guys with me so that I could, get them transitioned into being a comfort advisor.
Oh, that's great. That's a great way to train them, right? On site. They're doing the ride along with you. And have you utilized the CertainPath, selling tech training and the comfort advisor training? I know it's in the backyard. Have you gone to both of those?
I went to comfort advisor training about 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago. Yeah.
That's great. Well, good. But it helps, right? It's just that outside voice. It gets you to think about stuff a different way. That's fantastic. How about product? Well, go ahead, please.
Oh, but I do use the comfort survey, all the procedures, all the steps and everything on a sales estimate. Yeah.
Do you use the true cost calculator?
I do.
Oh, that a boy. I like it. All right, guys, use it. It works. Yeah. It works. That's great. We get a little people. I'll celebrate that in the office. We're always like, calculator. No,
right.
So it helps sell. But no, good for you guys. Trying to think, just how about in terms of install? So do you guys have dedicated install teams, or the guys do both service and install? What's that look like?
No, right now, the size of our team is we're 3 technicians, one apprentice, and myself. Then we have Janal and our CSR in the office. But right now we are using subcontractors. We have 2 teams that we've been using for years.
Yeah.
I mean, they're awesome. They're fantastic. They do everything the way that we want it to be done. They know what our guarantees are. They know what our warranties are. And, they understand that if it's, they smoke in a customer's house, it's potentially a free system. They swear in the customer's house, it's potentially a free system. They know all the expectations that we set forth as a company, and they follow them to a T. So not only do we, coach our team, our W-2 employees on culture and expectations, but we also coach our subs on culture and expectations.
That's outstanding. Good for you guys. That's great. Well, and also, it ensures that they're working in line the same way, you guys are. They're doing all the right things. That's fantastic.
And we actually get compliments from our customers on our install crews.
Right. Yeah. They have good experiences, which is great. Getting feedback from them is helpful. And obviously, long term, we are looking forward to growing out our different departments and adding in-house installers and things of that nature. We do a lot of indoor air quality. So, with duct cleaning, we also offer radiant variant insulation. So building out that department is also impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it's you don't realize how much that can benefit somebody until you actually get it installed and go, oh man, I'm not suffering with allergies or people with asthma. You hear it all the time and say, oh, it's incredible. So I guess, is it just talking weekly meetings about how to communicate that to homeowners and the benefits of it? That's just part of the training.
It is. Yep. Just about an hour ago, I had our accountant just telling me how grateful he is that he did a brand new system. He did radiant barrier, that he did insulation. He's like, man, he got the duct cleaning done. He was saying, not only am I more comfortable in my home, but my utility bill did go down, and I'm awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear from an accountant, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's crunching every number.
He's the number guy, right?
Paying attention.
Yeah.
So so we can give guys all the benefits, the financial, the comfort, your home being your castle, after, going to work, the last thing you want to do is come home and not be comfortable. So, we just stress the importance to our guys, because not only one of our technicians is a homeowner, the other 3 guys, they rent. So we have to, really drill home to them. What does it look like to be a homeowner? We have to put them in that mind state of this is how you communicate, because this is what this homeowner is experiencing. Yeah. So that's why it's important to communicate that to them.
Yeah. Because I know it's a young group. Look at the pictures of the minute. It's a young group, right? We're aspiring to get you there, guys, the homeowners. But I know it takes a minute, right? It's cheap in Dallas. I know that. But that's great, though. You get them in that mindset, and all the coaching you guys are doing, personal coaching. I mean, you're planting those seeds for them. Hey, you don't have to be a renter all the time, right? For the rest of your life. You can keep earning that money, and you can put it towards a piece of property yourself. And then this is what it looks like as a homeowner. This is the things you're going to value. So it all is kind of full circle. I can't believe we've been talking for over an hour already. So I want to kind of wrap it up. In the interest of your time, you talked about Expo, right? That's EP is its own unique experience. You get to meet people from different walks of life, different they've been in business, different lengths. What was Expo like going to the first one and maybe each one thereafter? What's that been like for you?
It's exciting, man. I got to talk to people from everywhere from New York to California to even Canada, right?
Yeah.
Hearing, what the perspective is. They're excited about the refrigerant changes. They're, worried about the price increases,
Sure.
And you find that you're all in the same boat. You got the same worries. You got the same concerns. It's almost as if you find yourself with a brother in the fight,
Yeah.
and you know that you're okay.
Yeah.
No, you're okay. Just keep your head above water. Be optimistic. Stay hopeful. And that, no matter how bad it gets, it's not the end of the world. And stay hopeful that tomorrow has, something greater for us.
I also love that they have all of the awards. Those are really cool to see these top performers and their numbers on the wall. I think that really helped energize our team to see what's possible, the potential that's out there, and give them some things to aspire to. So I really love that part of it. Obviously, we celebrate our team in-house, but for them to recognize they're part of something larger where we can celebrate them on a bigger scale if we are able to get there when we're getting there with our numbers and everything. So that was really exciting too. We had a lot of fun meeting a lot of new people.
That definitely motivated our guys.
Yeah,
seeing the numbers,
Oh, yeah.
And I seen your interview with a good friend of mine, David Wilson. And
sure.
We used to work together once before, and my guys got a chance to meet him and see his numbers, and they were like, wow, that's possible. Possible. That's possible.
That's very cool. Are you guys in a tag group, or are you not in a tag? Those accountability groups? Okay, you're not in those yet. Okay, all right. No, that's right. How about what you said? Obviously, you mentioned Esty. She's the one that alerted me to you guys and goes, we got to talk to this great, energetic young couple that's doing great things. How nice is it to have a coach, someone to kind of keep you accountable, who's been in the industry for a while, can direct you in the right way? What's that been like?
Yes, I would say, sorry to everybody else, but ST is the best. We call her ST our bestie.
Yeah.
We'll call her that. And she really is great. But her level of expertise, I think one thing that is probably like not common that we wouldn't normally think about working together as husband and wife, to have like a third person's insight into things is super helpful, because now and then we'll come to a stop where we're like, wait, what do we do? Do we go right or left right now? And so to have her input to help us figure that out is super helpful. She's like our third answer, our third input. And also whenever we are creating a plan, like you said, the accountability, because as an owner, you don't have anyone telling you what to do every day. Like we get to decide, and thankfully we are both pretty self-motivated. So we're always like after the next thing, we're ready. But to be on those steps every single day and have someone that's kind of in it with you to say, so how did that go? Keeps another layer of accountability and keeps us on top of our goals. So I really love having SC. She's great.
That's great. Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
She said it all. SC's fantastic. She really
I was going to say, I can tell you too, are energetic, or go-getters, just in listening to your story. But sometimes it's nice to have somebody to go, I love your passion for this, but it really should be the energy should be over here, right? Sometimes it just needs a little focusing, because we all lose, anything we work on day to day, we kind of lose sight of the bigger picture. So it's nice to have that.
Truly. And then having someone like her who can also help bring us back to our original vision, because, sometimes all the days aren't super energetic and we're like, this is really hard and I might be done, and obviously we're never done, but to have someone who is like, okay, remember our vision, remember where we're going. This is hard, but like we can get there. Kind of like a strength training coach, somebody that she really lives that out with the coach.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, that's great. Just kind of getting wrapping up. What would you say, to what CertainPath meant for you guys during these last few years, that you've been members? I know you've had COVID in the middle of that, right? There's been all sorts of changes. You're changing your business, this whole process. So how have we helped you throughout that time?
Yeah, to be honest, so in the beginning, super excited, on fire, ready for CertainPath, jumped head in, and then you realize this is a fire hydrant. This is
a lot of information.
This is way too much too soon. I don't know where to start. And I have to admit that I think it's safe to say that we kind of scaled back because we were afraid. Like, this is a lot going on.
Trying to do everything.
And everything it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. But, ironically, the business grew. We acquired customers. Folks wanted to come work with us. They liked our culture. They liked our team. Yep. And then you realize, okay, this thing is working. We're called to this. We've been blessed with this. Let's honor this. And we got this great team of people. We got great coaches. And then we just jumped back on board. And CertainPath has definitely been what we needed, to help scale this thing. And we feel like we're just getting started. Almost 10 years in. Yeah. Almost 10 years in. And I really feel like we're just getting started with where we're headed as a company.
That's great. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Sometimes people are just, you got a different journey, right? And sometimes there's a lot of members I talk to that go, wow, this is a lot. We'll do a few things. And then you kind of wrap your mind around it and you experience different things and go, oh, I see what they were talking about, right? Or I'm ready to make this change, right? But everyone's different. Everyone's different.
In the beginning, it's we don't understand, right?
Right. There's a lot of things being said that just didn't compute. But I think to recognize how it's been impactful for me is that the minute we do have an idea or we are ready for that next thing, the resources available. That's what CertainPath is for me. It's like we have this toolbox ready on the side, and okay, we're ready for that next tool. Let's grab it and start working it. So
yeah, that's cool. Well, what would you say to other, lots of people that watch and listen to this from their outside of the group, right? Not just inside. What would you say to those about potentially becoming a part of the CertainPath family?
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing to do. Take it slow. Listen to your coaches. Do one thing at a time and do that one thing good until you become proficient in it, Yeah. And maybe you can give that one thing to somebody else. Maybe it's the straightforward pricing, training your team up on straightforward pricing, using it every single time. An example for us, we've been using the straightforward pricing for years now, but this past year, we took giving 3 options very, very serious. Right. As long as we've been doing this, we would give options, but, we didn't have the option sheets, 1, 2, 3, break it down into what does it look like to offer financing with that and then you cash. And it's been awesome, so be patient with it. Do one thing, do it well, and then do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is something that you guys encourage, but with coaches, we had a bunch of different coaches. And I think every coach that we had was like great for the season. But I loved that we had kind of a bunch of different people that we could work with, because recognizing like we all have different learning styles and different ways that we communicate. And so being patient with finding the person that's like great for where you are, because I think if we had have had SC a while back, we probably wouldn't have been ready with like some of the things that she's helping us implement. But the coach we had when we first started out was great because they were like moving slowly enough to where we can kind of understand, okay, this is what you do need, this is what you don't need. So I don't know if people stick to the same coaches the whole time, so I may not be saying what you want to say.
No, it always bad. It's just saying.
It kind of reminds me of like a therapist. Sometimes you have the therapist. It's like, I'm not growing here. And it's like, you probably just need another therapist. So don't necessarily give up on the whole process, but make sure you're still reaching out with CertainPath and finding that person that can help, be in it with you. Because finding the right person is also impactful. I highly recommend. Like Brian said, it's a no-brainer. CertainPath has definitely helped us with tools, with systems, with outside support, and helping us keep our goals in front of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been great. And networking. We've met some really great people. So networking is also great.
That's great. Yeah, now that you have, you 10 plus years in business and with us, anything you would have done different or faster now that you can look back that someone could learn from?
The one thing that I think of that I know we would have done for certain is started our maintenance agreements immediately.
Yeah.
We would have started offering service plans day one.
Yeah. That's good. Janal, anything you can?
I was going to say, it may feel overwhelming. I think with us starting our maintenance plan, we didn't realize that tracking it would be like a process. So, yeah. But once you have that down, it's great. Something that we should implement it faster. No, I feel like everything that we have chose so far has been like a perfect timing. So, maybe responding to our coaches more, because also, you get in the thick of work and you're like, yeah, I know I could meet with this coach, but maybe I just want to stay in the weeds for a while. But the faster you reach out to your coach, the quicker you will get the next tool that you're ready for. You just don't know it because you're like in the weeds. So answer your coach's calls too, because that helps a lot. Yeah,
I think that's a great nugget. Sometimes it's good for a little, even if it's 30-minute break, just to kind of recenter yourself. All right, very last question. I'm excited. What you guys are young, you're hard chargers. Where do you see the business over the next 5 to 10 years? And where do you see the foundation in the next 5 to 10 years?
Wow. So the business, we see ourselves doing 10 million over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
We want to be, our goal is to become a 10 million a year company in 10 years, right? And as far as the foundation goes, we see ourselves in multiple schools, potentially multiple states. We want to fuel the workforce for the country. That's what we really want to do.
Yeah. We really believe the trades is such a pivotal foundation for our entire world, really. We all need the lights, the AC, the plumbing. And so to Brian's point, the goal is to just push the message out as far as we can and help these students find a pathway to purpose, because the ones that are graduating and they're not deciding on college, they're going into what we're calling gig economy, where they're delivering our Amazon packages and our Uber meals and all that, which is great. But ultimately, we would love to see them find a career path towards something that they could do, that they enjoy for the rest of their lives, and being a part of our community the way that we are. So definitely excited about the growth of the organization, having more contractors involved, not just us. We really would love to see more contractors that can mentor these students and hire them.
I love it.
Yeah. And anyone listening that want to be involved, they can help in any way possible, whether it's showing up and speaking at one of our presentations, or even financial donations, because there is a cost keeping the organization going. So we're open to any way that anyone wants to help.
Yeah.
I was going to say, go ahead. It's a good time for a plug. What's the website? How do people reach you guys if they're interested in helping?
Yeah. So our website is ngtf.co. And we are also on Instagram, which is NGTF or NGT Foundation. And it's the same thing for Facebook, NGT Foundation.
Yep.
And then our business is Serveway Heating and Air.
And the organization is a 501c3. So tax write-offs and things like that are,
Yeah, our board of directors, they're incredible. And we have an awesome dynamic board. They're all in different areas of the trades and also just community organizers and developers. So they're doing a great job at keeping the vision moving forward. We're excited for kids for sure.
That's outstanding. Well, that's great. God bless you too I'm excited to see where the business goes and the foundation. I think you guys are headed for great things. So Brian and Janal, thank you so much for all your time. This is a little long. I hope you didn't miss too many important calls, but I appreciate the time you took with us and letting everyone know your story and what you guys are doing, with the foundation and trying to help our industry. It's very exciting. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. This is great. Thank you for your time. This is awesome.
Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Support for this podcast comes from Shuby. It's time again to get covered for the cause with Shuby. This October, Shuby is running an awesome cause marketing campaign supporting an incredible organization dedicated to supporting families affected by a breast cancer diagnosis. Throughout October, Shuby is committed to making a difference. For every pink product purchase, 5% of the proceeds will be donated directly to their partnered organization. Build relationships with your customers, show you care, and support a great cause by decking out your team in pink. This is an awesome opportunity to create your own campaign to support those in your community affected by breast cancer. Be a part of the fight and show you care. Visit Shuby's website at www.shuby.com or call us to join the fight alongside United in Pink and countless families impacted by breast cancer. Get covered for the cause with Shuby this October. The Successful Contractor podcast is part of the CertainPath family. CertainPath builds successful home service businesses and has for over 25 years. We do it by providing contractors with a proven path to success, professional coaching, software solutions, and a member community of 1,000 plus strong. Doubling your sales with a 20% net profit and an inspiring company culture is all possible. Let us show you the way. With CertainPath, success is made certain. Visit www.mycertainpath.com or call 888-909-6604 for more information.